Good evening. Welcome to This Week in Chimps. I'm your host, Chad Burberry, and we're glad to have you here this evening. Tonight we have a very special guest on the show, Ms. Jane Goodall. Even though she's not a PhD,
I do have a PhD.
Dr. Jane Goodall, who is a world expert in baboons.
No, chimps.
In chimps, as I said. And we're really glad to have her this evening. We know that most of her hard-based science will be part of our discussion this evening. All the work she's done in labs. She's really
I haven't done any work in labs.
She's not done very much work, but we're very glad to have with us this evening. Please welcome Dr. Jane Goodall.
Hi, my name is Jane Goodall, and I was born April 3rd, 1934 in London, England. I guess I'll start from the beginning. I have two parents and one sister. My dad was a businessman, his name is Mortimer, and my mom was a novelist, her name is Margaret. My sister and I happen to be born the same day, but 2 years apart. So, all my life I've really loved animals. At age 1, I was given a toy chimp as a birthday present. Well, I also had a dog named Rusty, and he taught me a lot about what it's like to love animals and to feel their emotions. In 1957, I went to visit my friend in Kenya, and I met a paleontologist named Louis Leakey. Leakey helped me get contacts in Tanzania, where I went to work with chimps. Leakey also helped me attend Cambridge and receive a PhD. I was the 8th person to ever receive a PhD without getting any degrees before that. So, in 1960, I went to Africa with my mother, and I studied chimps in the field. This was by far the most interesting and important part of my career. One of the best things that happened while I was in Africa is I was able to observe chimps in their natural habitat. This is very important because even though I hadn't been to school, I had a special view on how to study chimps. No one had ever studied chimps in the wild that way before, and they had many misconceptions about chimps. Instead of numbering chimps and treating them like subjects in a scientific experiment, I treated them like people that I was studying, like in a case study. So I named them things like Gigi and Humphrey and Frodo, and I was actually accepted into their troop for 22 months. Yes? You're Frodo. Unfortunately, Frodo eventually attacked me, and I was forced to leave the troop. Stop! Throughout my life, I made many important discoveries. At the time, people believed that chimps were vegetarians and couldn't use tools. However, that proved to be wrong. Chimps eat termites and they use sticks like tools. Also, people believed that animals didn't have emotions or personalities, but I proved this to be wrong. While observing the chimps, I understood that they felt things like love, aggression, affection. Some chimps were even cannibals, which is very uncomfortable to watch, but ultimately very informative about chimp lives. Later in my own life, I did many things to help animals. I became an advocate for animal rights, and I even became a messenger of peace for the UN. I've written more than 20 books, some of them children's books, and I have also received many honorary doctorates from universities all over the world. I'm Jane Goodall, and thank you so much.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around.